Greetings, everyone. This is Hong Long from Hong Long Wuxia, and today I want to talk a bit about sports, specifically football, the kind that you play with your feet. I want to talk about my favorite team, or one of them at least. The other's in the third division of German football, Hertha Berlin, and they happen to be currently in the second division of German football, which is called the Bundesliga 2. But if the petulant fans of the team have anything to do with it, they're going to be in the Regionalliga before too soon. And that is the regional amateur leagues that sit below the third division. I'm not going to say that all of Hertha's fans are petulant, but rather that there is a small but very vocal part of the fan base that is essentially made up of spoiled, well-to-do adult children. The kind of people who know what they want, and by George, they better get it, or everyone is going to hear about it. The kind of people that stamp their feet and throw a hissy fit at the slightest opposition to whatever their immediate desires happen to be. And along with this group, and included therein, but also standing outside of that group, are the fascists, who cannot stand anything outside of white German Catholics. By the title of this video, you should already know where I'm going to go with this. Hertha BSC today lost to Elversberg by a score of 4-2. They're sitting right below them in the table, and now the calls for Dardai's head or job are becoming deafening once again. These calls, by the way, have been going on since his appointment, with the petulant constantly bemoaning this or that feature of Dardai's style, the kind of people that play FIFA by smashing all the buttons as hard as they can and then just moving the joystick straight into the direction of the goal. Yeah. These people should consider themselves lucky that he even deigned to come back and coach after the way he's been treated the last two times. The team is currently in the top half of the table, a team that is almost completely new from the year before. And it includes a majority of players that have come from their youth squad. So, what are the criticisms of Dardai? Well, there are essentially three criticisms. One is that he plays too defensively and the team's playing style is boring. The second criticism is that he's just not a good coach, that he doesn't have a clue about what he's doing, and that he doesn't develop players properly, and that he can't develop players. And the third criticism is is the one that contains the brown stench of fascism. He's Hungarian. He can't speak German, and therefore the players don't understand him. And, I'm putting this into halfway decent language. They make fun of his intellectual prowess, again, based on his Hungarian origins. First off, before I get started, let me say that this is only my second sport video, or video on sports, and the other one was on Dardai when they hired him back. And that's because, I think he's one hell of a coach. And he's also a great team manager. And because for the most part, people who comment on sports, and I'm talking about the ones in the bourgeois media, but also the ones who listen to them, for the most part, and not all, because, I listen too, of all the people listening, they're all generally bandwagon groupies. And if you don't believe me, I remember when they started first televising Premier League games on a regular basis in the U.S. Well, not just Premier, they did Premier League, Serie A, and a couple others, and La Liga, and there was in the Premier League they were like, well, the only thing that works in the Premier League is a 4-4-2. Nothing else will work. It's the perfect system. Nobody will ever be able to play anything but a 4-4-2 in the Premier League again. And then there was also talk about, nobody uses a three-man back line. And then Conte did it with Juve. And he did it to great effect. And now all of a sudden everybody's playing with the third. Well, not everybody's playing. I mean, it's been incorporated into the very small arsenal of formations that professional football clubs use, which is the 3-5-2, the 4-4-2, the 4-2-3-1, and the 4-1-3-2. And that's, I mean, occasionally you'll see a 4-2-2-2 too. But yeah. Manuel Neuer, the sweeper keeper. Now everybody has to be a sweeper keeper. Let's see, what else? My point is that they were wrong. They were extremely wrong. In Egg Ball, which I rarely watch anymore, but I mean, every team there, I see, every time I watch, they're all using the exact same playbook. Same formation, same playbook. The only difference is a slightly different play calling based on the skill set of the particular players you have. That's why a quarterback can move from one team to another in the middle of the season and in the middle of the week and start playing for them on Sunday, because there's not very much of a difference in the play calling. It's because people who play sports have a herd mentality. They always follow the leader. Oh, well, this works, well, we got to all do this. Oh, no, this is working, well, we all got to do that. If we don't do this, it ain't going to work. Ah! A glaring example of this herd mentality in sports circles is the current mimicking of Pep Guardiola by everybody. Whatever he does, it's gold. I mean, well, if your team is quick and you make lots of short passes, quick short passes, and you'd like to do a lot of pressing, okay. But if you don't do that, but if your team doesn't play like that, if you don't have that playing style, if you don't have the players to support that kind of playing style, then you should not be using that playing style. Right now, you would be hard-pressed watching a pro football game in which the team defending a corner put a man down the pitch, much less 2 or 3. Why? Why? Especially if you're a long ball team. I mean, if that strategy works so damn well, why aren't you keeping all 10 outfielders in the box for the entire game when you don't have the ball? Because it's stupid. And it doesn't work. That's why. And because it doesn't work. In that case, it also doesn't work on corners. And not only does it not work, but it prevents you, if you are a long ball team or a crappy team playing a very good team, from actually counterattacking. Precisely because there is a lack of thinking by sports enthusiasts, except in choosing who to bet on, I don't want to talk about it that much on this channel. I want to talk to people who are thinking, who have questions about the important things, or anything, really. I mean, that's not the audience that I want to engage with. But like I said, I think Dardai is a great coach, and I think his defenders really do him a disservice by not talking or bringing up the past. And what do I mean by this? Well, when he took over the first time, they were headed to relegation, and he saved the team. And really, I mean, they played pathetically. How did he save the team? He saved them by making them train harder than everyone else, by making their team fitter than everyone else, and concentrating on defense because they had no offense to speak of. Literally, I mean, they were pathetic. It was embarrassing to watch them play under Wuxia. It wasn't even football. It was like, pass it to this guy, pass it back, pass it back. Oh, somebody's coming, pass it back. I don't think I ever saw the ball on the other team's side of the field in the middle. Anyway, let's talk about Dardai and not Wuxia. But because he concentrated on the defense at the beginning and tightened them up, we're told that his style relies on staying compact in the back and occasionally countering. And that's just BS. I mean, in fact, I think it was either the second year or the following year that they didn't have a single goal from a counterattack until like the last 3 or 4 games of the season. When Dardai did get some offensive-minded players that had some skills, the team played more offensively, and it looked like they had some skills. But the team never spent any big money bringing in big-name offensive stars until after they had given Dardai the sack. And why did they give him the sack? After bringing the team to Europe in 3 straight seasons, the team was starting to falter at the end of the year because the entire starting lineup was injured. And he was playing with backups, and the team had a small losing streak. Seriously. It was then that the petulant and the fascists began pressuring the team's tops to have him removed, which they did. And the team suffered because of it. The second time they hired him, after spending 350 million euros, he saved them from going down yet again. And then they brought in the authoritarian Bobic, who apparently believed his own press releases about his managerial genius. Now, let me preface this with the fact that I think a number of his signings were good. I really liked Juke, and I still follow him at Antwerp. And there were a few others, but for the most part, yeah, he's a prick. He brought in, he got rid of all of their best players. All of the best players were released. And in the first summer, he brought nobody in. Boateng was his biggest signing from the 3rd division of Italian football, and he didn't play. They actually could have, a better choice would have been Ribery, who had played the previous year with, I believe, was it Fiorentina or was it the year before? Anyway, he was still a starter in the Serie A for a top 10 team. And he was a winger, which they needed. But Bobic carried out a wrecking operation at Hertha. He got rid of all of their wingers. Got rid of the last 2 on the deadline day. And didn't bring anybody in. And like I said, he could have brought in Ribery, who was a winger, and he would have been a great help to teach players. But instead they brought in Boateng, who barely played. Might have been a help in the locker room, but I think Ribery would have been just as strong or even stronger. And like I said, he was still starring and playing in a first division team. And then what did they do after they fired Dardai again? They brought in the wet noodle Korkut. I mean, I don't want to sound I don't want to be insulting, but the guy was a wet noodle. He sweated so bad through his first press conference, it looked like he was standing in the rain. And things didn't change as the time went on. And this was done, you could tell, so that Bobic could micromanage the team. And you could see this even before Dardai was sacked, how his temperament and how his public persona visibly changed the moment that Bobic was brought in, and then again when they brought him back and Bobic was gone. They were like completely different individuals. And that's because of the managerial style. Bobic was one of those slash and burn managers. And he did nothing but carry out a wrecking operation within Hertha. And now, this year, after clearly at the beginning of the year stating that they wanted to create stability in the team this year, that they weren't after promotion, and they didn't frankly think that they could do it. They'd like to just stay up because they completely changed the entire squad. But they achieved that, and still the petulant, they want more. They stamp their feet and they clench their fists and they say, "More! More! More!" Before they open their mouths, they ought to first think back. Take a moment and think back at what has happened from firing Dardai, what he brought to the club, and maybe ponder what's going on over at Bayern right now. The best team in the world for the better part of the last decade. Nobody wants to coach him. Why? Well, because if you lose the one game, the questions immediately start coming out. Well, isn't it time to think about getting a new manager? And this is one of the best teams in the world. Nobody wants to coach them. And on top of having petulant fans, they have petulant players who apparently wield a lot of power too. Getting back to Hertha, I mean, Hertha is not Bayern. Hertha is in the second division. They're not expected to be in the Champions League, but guess what? You know, when Hertha was playing in Europe, guess who brought him there? Take a guess. Take a guess. It's that guy right there. Yeah, it was him. It was him. It wasn't Sandro Schwartz. It wasn't I don't even want to say his name. Keine Frage. Guess who that is? Keine Frage. And it definitely wasn't Korkut. No, it was Herr Dardai who brought them to Europe. And what has happened since he's been gone? Well, trying to stay afloat. That's what's been going on. What else has Dardai brought to the team? I remember when he first came in and throughout Michel Pretz's tenure, they were constantly talking about building a new stadium, blah, blah, blah. We're going to build a new stadium that holds 26,000 people. Right now, the Olympic Stadium holds 76 to, I think, up to 79,000 people. And while they are not filling that stadium at every match, they are putting in more than 50,000. In fact, right now, Berlin, even being in the second tier of German football, is one of the top 20 clubs in the world for stadium attendance. Small minds, small dreams, but huge and unrealistic expectations, just like spoiled little brats. Look at the players that left Hertha last year. What are they doing now? With the exception of Mittelstadt, all of the team's best players have been riding the pine. I think Toussaint finally he played really good. I don't think he played at all yesterday or today, but last week he played and he played pretty well. But other than that, he's been on the bench most of the season. And that goes with everybody else besides Mittelstadt. Everyone else besides Mittelstadt, Richter plays for Mainz, a team that's going down or is in a relegation battle. He didn't even get off the bench today. And Gangkamp, he got off the bench today for the last 4 minutes. He got traded away by Frankfurt and not getting a look in there. Luca Bacchio in Sevilla. They're riding the pine. He got a couple of starts in like November and December, and he's back on the bench. And I mean, he plays pretty good, I think, but you know, he's not getting a look in there. Edjuke, he's playing regularly now, but he didn't start playing for Antwerp until about December. So, and as far as Mittelstadt goes, Where was Middlesex playing when Dardai wasn't coaching? Oh yeah, that's right. He was riding the pine. It was that guy right there who was putting him in the game and giving him playing time. The rest of them, I mean, I don't even think he made the team. He didn't even get to ride with the team when the other guys were in coaching the team. And again, on Dardai's playing style, for those of you too ignorant to watch the game for yourself, you should keep your mouth shut, because all that comes out is stupidities. Dardai has changed and morphed his playing style according to what talent he has available and what the team has been doing. And it changes not just from the team to the team, from the year to year, but it has changed within the year, from game to game sometimes. I mean, you want to keep a stable team, so you're going to mostly play the same kind of offense or offense or formation and stuff. I mean, you're going to change it up a little bit compared to what teams that you're playing against as well. But the style of the team has changed with what players are available and who plays. The fact that Hertha has the second most productive offense should have quieted the nonsense that Dardai's style was a defensive style long ago. But they apparently missed the offensive character of the team before he was sacked the first time, when he also had several stars that could play, and when they did, they went forward, and they went forward beautifully. They played gorgeous football. But those guys missed that, probably picking their nose. But they probably also don't watch the press conferences. But since they go back 10 years, you know what? You can go back and you can watch every single one of them. They have them on their YouTube site. And he patiently explains in every one of the press conferences before a game and after the game what the team is doing, why they're doing it, what they may do if they have certain players available, and again, why they are doing that. It's all there. There's a documentary record of it. So, yeah, I mean, they don't have a leg to stand on, these people. They're little whiny little brats who prefer to see the team go down so that it can sit there and complain. Probably anti-vaxxers too. Demonstration of their intelligence. As for the other group of Dardai haters, another group of intellectually challenged people, the stench of fascism nowadays, it's just hard to avoid. And that's because all of the mainstream political parties in country after country have been adopting their racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric and their glorification of war and violence. But really, saying that Dardai is not a good coach because players cannot understand his German is just moronic vomit from racists. I've never had a single issue understanding anything he has said, and I rarely use German. No, these asshats, and yeah, that's what they are. They're freaking asshats, are just upset that a non-German is coaching the biggest club in the capital city. They have a part with those the other dolts who are telling Bayern to take penalty kick duties away from Lewandowski because they didn't want to see a Pole holding the scoring title in Germany. These swine should not only be not listened to, but they should be shouted down at every occasion whenever they spout their filth through the wrong bodily orifice in public. I want to say it loud and I want to say it clear. Stop wrecking our team. Hands off Dardai. Ha ho he.